I live in a small countryside town. About 4 hours if you take the bus, or 2 to 3 if you take the car, depending how much traffic there is, from a big city. The big city being Medellin, which, if you're watching this, you probably know Medellin is one of the most popular destinations when people come here to Colombia. But if you're not in a big city such as Medellin, Bogota, Cali, Manizales, Barranquilla, Santa Marta, well, you don't really have as much available to you in the countryside. So it is, I think, for us, being from, most of us, or me at least, and most of you who watch my channel are from North America. Most of us who grew up in the US, we are used to being able to go to the town, even if it's a small town, and finding everything we need at one store. It is very rare that we go to town and we have to go to the hardware store, the meat store, the vegetable market, the fruit market, well, vegetable and fruit market, or the pharmacy for things. We go to big box stores, which, if you live even in rural United States, or, you know, the countryside or suburbia, you have a Costco, at a Target, bare minimum, you have a Walmart. So here in the countryside, we do not have big box stores. I think the closest big box store we have is a De Uno, which is the equivalent to a Aldi's. Basically, Aldi's owns De Uno, D1. So we have a D1. Almost every small town has a D1. It is probably the most common multi-purpose store we have. And I kind of say multi-purpose with like very light, very, take that term very loosely, because you really don't want to buy your vegetables there. You don't want to buy your fruits there. You don't want to buy your meats. You don't want to buy things that you can get better quality in the carniceria or the verduria or the legumberia, whatever you want to call it. You want to go to the local meat guy. We go to our meat guy once a week. Get fresh meat, fresh pork. Everything's pretty fresh. We started buying our chicken from a lady next door to us. I'm walking my dogs. We started buying our eggs and chicken from a woman down the street. So, you know, they're pretty local. The price is about the same as you would get from a store, but it's local, and you know, you can tell you know what they feed their chickens here. No, they don't feed them. We don't really use Roundup. Some farmers use chemicals, but around me, they don't really use as many chemicals as some big farmers, because there's a bunch of small farms around here, and most of them don't want to kill everything off and are pretty, you know, cognizant about the environment. That comes with living in a pueblo where people make their money off of farming. So back to stores. So those of us who grew up and being really common, me for one, well, I can tell you, when I grew up in a small town in Kentucky, much smaller than where I live now. It had about 1,600 people. I don't know how many it has now. I know they have a McDonald's now, but you're not going to find a big box store there either. The biggest box store you might find is, last time I was there, it was a few years ago. No, they didn't have it. They have, you know, grocery stores, but most people go to Glasgow, or Bowling Green if they need to find food, to find, you know, a Walmart, maybe a Kmart. What was that? Buenos tardes. Buenos tardes. Él es un cochorro, le gusta saltar. Oh. Está bien, Paqui. Come on. Es un macho, sí. Venga. You know, small southern towns. At one point, you had to go to the butcher and do all that stuff, but Now you don't. You can go to the big store, Harris Teeter's or Stop and Shop or Walmart or Target. You can get everything you need. And you can get everything you need for your house. So in Medellin, Bogota, Manizales, Cali, the big cities, Tunja, you can find big malls, big shopping centers, XOXO, Jumbo, Carula, where you can buy most of everything you need at one store. You know, Jumbo is like a Target or Walmart. Here we don't have that. If we want to do that, the closest is Medellin, which is 4 hours away. So it is really common for us to have to go to a bunch of different stores. So with that said, as well as most people here take public transportation or they have a motorcycle, there are a few people here that have cars. But like I said, the roads, they're not conducive to cars and everyone having a car. The roads are small, they're windy, a lot of people take the Jeeps here. In my last video you saw that we transported the coffee on the Jeep. And along with the Jeeps, they go to and from the town and they go all the way up into these mountains. And people bring everything they need for the week, the month, however long, because a lot of these people who live far up in the mountains, they don't have cars. They might have a horse. Some people go to town with a horse. There's a guy who drives by every day who brings his goods in by horse. And you'll see that too. Most people have motorcycles, but not everyone can afford a motorcycle. Fortunately, we have a motorcycle. So we get all our goods once a week. We go to the store and we buy everything we need. And yes, we haul it back on the motorcycle. So I've had some requests, people asking me how do you get all your goods, and do you use a motorcycle, and how do you carry it? So at the end of this video, I'm going to show you, but I kind of just wanted to talk about first and let you know how things are here, because a lot of people will say to me, oh, just buy that. It should be next to the X, Y, and Z. Here, if it's not a popular item, for example, the D1 for a while was carrying sunscreen. I wear sunscreen every single day because we are pretty close to the equator. The sun, the UV is very strong. So I was buying sunscreen. It was like 15,000 pesos, which is a good price. It's like 4,000 pesos per $1. So do the math. So it was a good price, 15,000 for just a tiny one. It would last me about a month. And they stopped selling it. So I said to my guy, I said, I'm probably the only person who buys it. So they probably stopped carrying it. And they stopped carrying it. So now I have to go to the pharmacy to get sunscreen. So, and it's like triple the price because it's a better quality. But, you know, it's like now for 45,000 pesos versus 15,000 because they don't carry it. And I know people are like, well, why don't they carry it? Well, it's not an item that everyone uses. So if there's something that maybe a Day Uno sells in Medellin, if there's no need, no demand, they're gonna stop carrying it. And that kind of goes for everything here. Today I have an obsession with going to the farm stores. Farm stores are pretty much similar here as they are in the US. My sister has a farm. She's got goats and buys all her things. And also I think you have the farm tractor store, the tractor store. I can't think of the name of it. But one time I was in there, my cousin was able to get her dog washed, and she could buy ducks and chickens and everything she needed in there, including clothes. You know, she could buy everything she needed for her dogs, her ducks, her chickens, and even buy those things. So today, I thought, I'm gonna go ask and see if they know where I can buy some ducks, because I want to get ducks. They have baby chickens, no problem getting chickens, but they had no idea. They said I'm gonna have to ask a farmer. So that just gives you a perspective on how we get things around here. If there is no demand, they will not carry it. I want borax to kill some ants, so I'm gonna have to order it online and go pick it up in Medellin. So my guy has a friend who said we can use his address to ship things. So it's not even that we can't get things by going to a big box store. We cannot get Mercado Libre or Amazon packages. Basically because They have to come via Servitrega, and there's a drop point in town. I've actually been on the emailing back and forth with something called Caribbean Shipper to get things from the US. They ship them to Miami, and then that company, you have to set it up to bring them via Servitrega. And the people that I've been emailing back and forth with, there's like, do you have an address? I'm like, no, we don't have an address. My address is what it is. It's the area I live in. It's not like a #1 rural road, or, you know, it's not like, here, get your thing. It's like, we don't get mail, basically. You will never get mail to these rural areas. You have to have an apartment building in town or a house, and you have to be in the city to get actual mail. Or you have the bus. The bus can bring your mail. If I give a bus a package and say, bring it to this person, or bring it to the bus station, that person will come collect it. They will do that. Okay, I can put the little glass things here.
And then more dangerous things there.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how we fit everything on the motorcycle. Well, I'm going to try to, because, let's see. Basically, I have two things. I'm carrying my backpack and a bag of like the easy things that will break, or the squish. And he puts it on his front backpack and carries it in the front on the motorcycle. And then we have this full also. And then I'm carrying this because we had to buy a lot of things today. So I'm carrying, this is full of stuff. And he has 2 bags. I forgot. Oops. We bought a lot of things today. So he basically does this. Sometimes if there's too much, I go back on in a motorcycle, like a moto taxi. But we make this work. Luckily, we're only about 10 minutes from town. So it's not too crazy, but it's a little crazy. Okay. Now take this though. He hates when I film him. So basically, this is the setup. Especially, I won't get your face. So you get, He puts it on front, side, and then I'm gonna hop on this teeny space. Okay. See? Listo? Un momentico. Okay, so it's a little crazy.
For the other people in the world. Maybe you get someone doing the same.
See? Yeah, I'm gonna record. But this is very normal here. Sometimes you see people with more stuff than we have, and like 4 kids on a motorcycle. I'll see what I can get.